Hi, I'm Alex, I'm FTM transgender and I'm 16, so this is going to be about my sort of general storyline of coming out and my life story in a trans context. So I first encountered the word trans when I was watching a documentary called I Am Leo, and it was quite basic. It was just like, oh, you're trapped in the wrong body, so I thought, oh, this is maybe me, this might explain some things. I always thought of myself as like a weird tomboy, so I thought maybe being trans could explain like me being more masculine. So I did some like research on the internet. I was watching like some YouTube videos. I remember looking for like some am I trans quizzes and stuff like that, but it was quite difficult to find stuff. But yeah, and then when my house family went out to like a meal, I was called male by a waiter. Now, I made no effort to like pass as male, but sometimes I'd be called male and then I'd be very, very happy. So I was very, very happy, and then that gave me the confidence to come out in front of, yeah, my family. And my mum was really quite supportive even from the start. My dad, not so much. He thought it was a chemical imbalance, and he thought that there was a blood test for being trans, so he was like pushing for me to go and do that. But that's not a thing. It took him like a few months to get over that. My sister didn't really think it was real, and she was sort of like angry at me. But yeah, once I started like going to like trans meetings and stuff, she got over that. And I remember when I first went to one of those meetings, and then those sorts of things were what made me like pick a new name and Alex. But yeah, don't go for Alex, it's way too common. Yeah, and then my grandma wasn't really a fan. I mean, most of my family, they're like, I don't really get it, but it's a thing. Oh, my uncle was like, oh, this is wrong and rubbish and what are you doing? But like 1 day trip, I explained everything to him and that was fine. My grandma took a bit more time. She was sort of against letting me bind, and she told me to like hit the feelings on the head. But eventually they sort of accepted it, like it's a thing but I'll never really understand it and that's okay sort of attitude. My great grandparents were actually more supportive than expected, but then later on my grandma asked like, why don't you just be a girl because it's just so much easier, and I'm like, yeah, but you can't really choose your gender. If I could, then I'd be cis, yeah. And then I remember when I first like went go-karting, well, when I went out as male with my dad, and he called me by male pronouns, and I was so happy and everybody, and I passed, and yeah, that was really important to me. No. Yeah, the support groups were important. And then I came out at fencing. My instructors were just very supportive, so they just called me by the right pronouns, and I switched from the female to the male leagues, and that was fine, and that was when I started binding at that time. And then that takes me to when I came out in the Jewish community by wearing a suit to a bar mitzvah, and then coming out in school the following Tuesday. And yeah, I mean, I remember telling people beforehand and they never believed me. It was very funny. And they came in like a guy in a tie and trousers, and everybody was like, what? But yeah, so I guess that's my experience. So not everybody accepted me at first. People were more positive than I thought they would be, and just give it time, I guess. I mean, I've been very, very lucky, so yeah, I guess that's what it's like to come out as trans. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.